Hello, convention delegates. This is Craig Liccardi from SD1 here to give you the minority report on Rule 44. Rule 44 is simply a tool that gives you, Texas Republicans, the ability to make sure that the people you hire at the ballot box do the job they said they would do. It says that if an elected official gets censured, the party will not support their campaign in the next primary and neutrality rules are lifted. That's the entirety of Rule 44 prior to this convention. And we added some language in the temporary that added some teeth, and those actually got all kinds of amended and changed by the time we got to permanent. So rather than go through what we did in between, let me tell you where it's at right now. The second penalty just basically says that they will be discouraged from running in the primary, and if they choose to run in the primary, after they've been censured, after they've disgraced the Republican brand, after they've violated our core principles over and over and over, if they still want to call themselves Republican, they can. But the SREC has the option, the ability to educate voters in that district about the contents of that censure resolution. Okay? Appearing on your screen is the actual language of the Minority Report, Rule 44. The other thing that we preserved that happened in committee is some due process provisions. That way the accused office holder can address the executive committee, the CD, the SD, or the SREC, as the case may be. Now, because of the language that some people didn't like, the attack ads started right away after the temporary committee was finished. Joe Poyman from TAL, he called us leftist cancel culture. But let's face it, the only thing that gets canceled is a culture of corruption in Austin, where you got folks that don't do what they're supposed to do, who want to continue to call themselves Republicans and use our brand to try to deceive voters into thinking they're getting a conservative just because there's an R after their name. We don't operate that way. We got integrity. Now, let me explain to you what I think is going on in our party. God gave me a vision, an analogy a few years ago about our party on a football field. We're all got the red jerseys on. We're all playing against each other like in a scrimmage. All right. Now, the vast majority of us are grassroots conservatives, and we want to get the ball in the end zone. We want to pass the right bills, elect the right people, kill the wrong bills. But the other side, they're not interested in getting the ball in the end zone so much as they are just in controlling that pigskin. Going up or down the field doesn't matter as long as they're the ones in charge. It's like ball hogs. Remember the ball hogs from soccer when you were a kid? Kind of like that. Now, what really sets them off is when you, the grassroots activists, have the ball. They can't stand that. That's why they want to strip it away. They just want to take 44 and throw it in the trash. So we worked hard in committee, right, to get the right kind of language and get the right things done. And we came up with some compromise language in permanent, thinking that we were dealing with some folks with sincerity. Unfortunately, there were some elements that were disingenuous because even after we had compromise language and we kind of had it nailed down where we were going to leave it, player number 21 still decided to try to kill the entire thing, even after we'd already come to an agreement. If we had a floor vote or floor fight, rest assured that would come up again. They would try to strip the entire thing out and take that ball away from you, take that power away from you, take that tool away from you. Now, if you had a business and you had a lot of employees and you had no way of keeping them accountable, had no way to make sure that they were doing their job, no review process, okay? Remind me not to come to work for you because you're not going to have that business very long. It's not going to last, I guarantee it. And you know what, folks? If we treat the RPT the same way, if we treat our Republican elected officials the same way, we don't have any kind of standard to hold them to, like our core principles, we're not going to have an RPT very much longer. It's already been turning purple. And if you want a pretty pastel purple Republican Party, then go ahead and strip 44 out and throw it in the trash. Take those teeth out. But if you want a good, solid, bold, red, strong Republican Party of Texas, and you keep those teeth in there, and you keep people on the right path. The last thing I want to do, folks, is something that's very serious, and I want to talk about the word hypocrisy. Hang with me for just a minute, because you're going to see that I'm not misapplying this in the least. The arguments, after you strip away all the smoke and mirrors about county chairs and election code and all the rest, when you get down to the core of it, there's just this idea that the censure it's like the Soviet Politburo. It's like the Hitler's Gestapo. that it's mean, it's nasty, it's divisive, it's rude, it's overkill, it's unnecessary. You can throw out a whole bunch of other pejoratives. Really? If a censure tool is that bad, if it's like an oppressive communist dictatorship, if it's like ethnic cleansing from World War II, if it's so divisive, so nasty, if it's so unnecessary, then let me ask the other side of the question. Why are you using it against us? We're just trying to help the grassroots keep a tool to keep people accountable. And you're going to censure us? This censure is going around the internet. To censor your permanent rules committee members if they vote to keep Rule 44. You know what that means, grassroots? It means there's a handful of people on our temporary and our permanent committee that want to censure you because they want to strip away the censure ability from you. Don't give in to their tactics. Don't listen to their lies. Don't acquiesce to their fear-mongering. And don't, above all, don't give in to their culture of cancellation, cancel culture, whatever it's called. It tells you to sit down, shut up, we know best, don't question us, we're your superiors. That's ultimately what will happen if you let them gut your Rule 44. That's why you need to vote for the minority report version of Rule 44. Thank you. God bless you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Good night.